everyone. Today, me and my partners would like to present our business English module. Sorry to interrupt, but before that, I would like to introduce myself and my partners. My name is Sofani Dwi Ramadan Edi, and two of my friend is Sofia Nur Alifa and Salsabila Maulidia. Now, Chapter 1, Structure of Decision Making. The reason for having a meeting is to make a decision. Information may be given in a presentation, followed by questions or discussion, but it is to get a consensus that the meeting has been arranged in the first place. Achieving this in the most time and cost effective manner as possible is a goal that everyone attending the meeting must share. Marion Haynes in 1988 maintains that decision-making meetings need to follow a specific structure. The rational decision process includes the following steps. The first one is to study, discuss, and analyze the situation. This initial step involves thoroughly examining and understanding the context, gathering relevant information, and discussing the various aspects of the situation to ensure all stakeholders are on the same page. The second step is to define the problem. This step involves identifying the specific issue or challenge that needs to be addressed. The third step is to set an objective. Establishing clear objectives help in focusing efforts towards achieving a specific outcome. It defines what needs to be accomplished through a decision-making process. Next one is to state imperative and desirable. Here, essential requirement and constraints, imperative, and desired outcomes or preference desirable are articulated. This helps in understanding the boundaries and desired outcomes of the decision. Next step is to generate alternative. Brainstorm and generate multiple potential solutions or course of actions to broaden the scope of possibility, fostering creativity and innovation in decision making. Next, you need to establish evaluation criteria. Criteria are established to assess the feasibility, effectiveness, and alignment of each alternative with the objective and imperatives set earlier. This step provides a structured approach to evaluate the alternative objectively. Next is to evaluate the alternatives. Each alternative is systematically evaluated against the established criteria to assess its strength, weakness, risk, and potential outcomes. This process helps in identifying the most viable options. And the last step is to choose among alternatives based on evaluation. A decision is made to select the alternative that best meets the defined objectives, satisfies the imperative, and aligns with the desired outcomes. One other aspect of decision making is the necessity of participants in the meeting to be aware of one another's needs and perceptions. If these are not effectively communicated, if there is an insufficient degree of understanding of one another's requirement, then an acceptable conclusion is unlikely to be reached. It is only when we accept that communications are a two-way process that any form of communication, including decision making, will become genuinely successful and effective. Decision making is not always an identifiable activity. Frequently, the discussion can evolve into a consensus, which can be recognized and verbalized by the leader without the need to put things to the vote.
Stating opinion is an expression used to give an opinion about something. We can convey ideas or notions in response to someone who asks us. Stating an opinion also means expressing our personal point of view or belief about a certain topic or issue and is based on thoughts, feelings, and experience. Asking for an opinion is an expression of someone about something, such as asking to convey an idea or a notion about something. Asking for an opinion can also be interpreted as a good way to get an additional point of view or input on something from someone else. How to express an opinion? The first one, you can speak when it's your turn to speak and you have been invited to do. Avoid interrupting other people's conversation, because this is important to note as a form of mutual respect for everyone's human rights in expressing opinion. Next, using a neutral or impartial point of view. This method aims to make our opinions well received and reduce the risk of making others feel uncomfortable. Next, should not force others to agree with our opinions. Even though the ideas conveyed feel right and will benefit many parties, we still should not force others to agree because it risks cheating, disputes, and everyone must have their own opinions. Next, use simple analogies. The interlocutors can more easily understand the opinion conveyed. The analogies conveyed must also be related to the topic being discussed and compare things by using comparable measures. Next, have a strong and clear argument based when expressing our opinions. It's even better if you have some data and facts that support the opinion to be conveyed. Next, how to ask others for opinions properly. First, use open-ended questions that allow respondents to give broader and deeper answer rather than just yes or no. Using open-ended questions during meeting or discussions can help gather a wide range of views and ideas. Active listening is a way of listening that is truly focused. In other words, you really pay attention to what the other person is saying. We can practice this by giving our full attention to the other person, not interrupting the conversation, and responding neutral. By doing so, the other person will feel truly heard and appreciated. Next, appreciate. Thank the other person after we get their opinion. This can show that we value their contributions, encourage them to continue to provide valuable motivation in the future, increase engagement and participations, help create a supportive, collaborative, and productive environment. When we want to ask or need an opinion from someone else, here are some examples that commonly used. The first is, what's your opinion about? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on? How do you feel about? When we want to give an opinion, matter or problem, we can actually use many expressions. There are 6 categories. The first one is regular opinion. These expressions can be used when we give a general opinion, not too strong, not too weak, or can be used in any situation. Here are some examples. We can use in my opinion or as I see it. Next is strong opinion. Sometimes we have a very strong opinion, strongly believe, strongly believe. For example, we can use I believe that or I'm convinced that. The next is weak opinion. Sometimes we also have an opinion that is not very strong, not believe or confused about whether this opinion is right or wrong. Sometimes we are as our opinion, we don't really know how much. For example, we can use I feel that or I tend to think that.
Next, chapter 3, interrupting and handling interruption. An interruption is when a listener interrupts and takes the place of the speaker, so that the speaker is not speaking but becomes a listener. Interruptions are made because there is input that needs to be considered for a meeting or presentation. Interruption can be cooperative or competitive. Cooperative interruption add value to the speaker, while competitive interruption disrupt the speaker. There are several purposes of interruption, which are follow. The first is to ask for clarification or express confusion. For the example, you can say, sorry, I don't quite understand your point. Could you explain it again? Or wait, are you saying? Wait, are you saying? The second is to contribute or share relevant information. For the example is, actually, there another fact to consider, blah, blah, blah. The third is to ask for more detail. For the example, can you tell me more about? Or you can say, what do you mean by? The fourth is to disagree or challenge a statement. For the example is, sorry, but I disagree with your opinion, or are you sure about that? And the last is to change direction of the discussion. As the interrupt party, we can accept or reject the interruption. However, it must be done well and politely. The ways to handle interruption are: the first is promise to come back later or ask for focus time. For example, you can say, please give me a few minutes to discuss the question, or I'll be focusing on the presentation for the next 2 hours. Please let me know if something urgent comes up. The second is politely disagree with the interruption. For the example, you can say, thanks for your input. I'm almost finished with this point. Or let me finish this section and then I'd be happy to answer your question in more detail. The third is say that the interruption is irrelevant or short in time. The example is, that's an interesting point, but let's stay focused on original topic for now. The fourth is reject a suggestion. For the example, you can say, thanks for your suggestion. I'll think about it, but I'm not sure if it will work. Or you can say, I appreciate your advice, but I already have a plan. And the last is politely accept the interruption and respond to it before moving on.